Um, don't have any visuals today, but the new sort of mooring permits and everything software whitens your teeth, freshens your breath while you sleep. The configuration is going well. We did a test earlier this week where I renewed my mooring for the year, and it was very easy and fun to use, and the money got deposited in the correct account. So thanks to Katie and Jamie and the team at LinksLog for helping us with that. We should be ready to start sending out all renewals probably next week or the week after, so that we're ready for the year. And we'll be, of course, happy to help in person with anybody who needs that. Some people do tend to show up in person, but we will be directing, folks through the app because even on your phone, it's just like a super easy website to use. So I think this will improve user confidence and customer appeal. The software also lets you look at a chart on your phone of like all of the moorings, and you can tap the mooring and see who it's registered to. And it has a number of other nice features that will make planning the mooring field in conjunction with the scan we had last year possible. So we'll be able to kind of get complete data on every mooring. It will also, and one of the reasons we moved to this software, a number of other harbors, Wellfleet, Barnstable, Sandwich, there's probably like a half dozen harbors in Cape Cod, use it now. And all of the data, or a lot of the data can be shared between these harbors. So, if you get pulled over driving a car in the street, the officer who pulls you over can see, a record of your interactions. And so they know if you have a warrant out for your arrest, or they know if you have an outstanding citation for a broken taillight or whatever, and if you haven't had it fixed yet. So the police share data about this to enable them to do a better and more comprehensive job with public safety. This does not exist on the water. And so as we're through this vendor, a lot of Cape and Islands towns are beginning to share information to help us be, better stewards of our harbors. And so it will also automatically let us know if the registration is valid. We can store and check insurance details to make sure that insurance hasn't been canceled, for example, which happened to us a couple times this past year. And so overall, we're really excited about it. But you all get to be guinea pigs because even if you just have a dinghy dock permit, you're going to get your permit through this system. So look forward to that. And if you have any questions or feedback about it, a lot of it is very configurable. So we're happy to make changes. Other things to report. We're doing some advanced boat training with the fire department this year. So myself and 4 members of the fire EMS team are going to spend a week with the Yarmouth and other Cape Wide fire departments on the water in Yarmouth and Dennis on the Bass River doing emergency response training on the water. And this will enable us to just increase the number of people in town who are certified to drive the patrol boat. So that is going to be fun. And I think I'm getting the sense from talking to people in our fire department that it's a first of its kind cross-department collaboration. Other than that, are there any questions or things I can help answer about the harbor?
Not for me. That sounds great. Does anyone have any other questions?
Is there going to be enforcement on the dinghy? Oh, is there going to be enforcement on the dinghy dock? That people can do it online?
Maria, just because Jody is not on, will you just say your name just so he has it for the minutes?
It's Maria.
Enforcement of what kind?
Like if you can get it if you can get your dinghy dock permit online, how are people going to know?
Well, so for example, one thing we couldn't do in the past was a staff member could not walk the dinghy dock and very easily look up boats.
Yeah.
Now we can.
Oh, cool.
And so you'll still get a sticker.
Yeah.
We can either mail you the sticker or you can come pick it up.
Yeah.
So we'll know immediately if you don't have a sticker for this year because it won't be on the boat.
Yeah.
But we can also look up if there's a boat that's not registered because it's a guest, one of those 4-hour guests, we'll be able to put notes in like arrived at this time or.
No, I mean like the guy that has the steering wheel that had the boat that got a dinghy dock permit. Remember?
What do you mean? So what was the.
Like like, I just want to make sure people with like steering wheels and like big boats aren't getting.
Center consoles are
Yeah.
not allowed on the dinghy dock, but somebody.
Yeah. The rules about what boats can get permits haven't changed.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the permits, people didn't bring their boats to the office to get stickers in the past.
Yeah.
So they still have to self-report what the boat is. And the permits have to be approved before they can be issued. So we'll have the self-report of the boat. And then if we see a boat that doesn't match what's allowed to dock, then we'll take action.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions? Then next up is the Fisherman Support Fund recommendations. Pete, I don't know if you have any update on this. I did talk to Bo Gribben, and I believe that some of the wives are putting something together, and I told them to reach out to us, and we would hopefully make a donation that way. But I don't know if you have any other information.
I personally do not have any information about that. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that we'll just, if it's okay, Katie, just leave this on the agenda until we have sort of more updated information. Again, it's not necessarily for this specific event, but just to have funds available for hopefully not needing them in the future. Does anyone have anything on that? Otherwise, we'll go into warrant article votes. Did everyone get a chance to look at the warrant?
Didn't we do this last meeting? Or was that, am I mixing something? Oh, no, never mind. I'm mixing up crab. Never mind.
Just for timing, I will just say the ones that I think if anyone has any objections or any additions, does that sound right for everyone?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. So Article 2, the operating budget. Article 3, Cape Cod Tech, doesn't necessarily pertain to Harbor, but I think it's good to get kids in trades. So I think that we should support that. Article 4, enterprise funds. Article 5, PTV. That has been down for about a month, and so it's been hard for people to watch meetings. I know Harbor's non-regulatory, but I think it's good for town government overall. Article 7, derelict vessel removal and cleanup. Sorry, and these are all ones that I think that we should vote to support. Article 11, funding for the snow and ice budget. I think, with the several storms that we had, and also all of the snow being dumped in McMillan, I think that would be good to have a budget. Sorry, I'm just. I don't think we need to do any of the rescinding. But Article 19, the capital improvements. And I think there's one more, which is the Fisherman's Fund. Mike, what article is that? Sorry.
It's the consent agenda, Article 38.
Okay, and Article 38. Is there anything else that anyone would like to add to that?
Nope.
You're muted, Mike.
Mike, you're muted.
So I was going to say, I'll just motion that we accept and vote in favor of articles as noted.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
I just want to check. I mean, I think some of these are kind of a stretch to be in our purview.
Well, you know, I love a stretch, but yes.
I know. And I'm fine with supporting all of them. I just want to make sure everyone else is before we move to a motion. And I kind of want Pete's opinion too, but.
I am new to this, and so I defer to the expertise of others on the committee. I have no strong opinion. Sorry, Mia.
Yeah, I think we went pretty wild last year. So
Yeah,
I did try and nip some of them in the bud, but I do think that like for maybe the most off one is Cape Cod Tech, but I do think that we should.
Yeah, I think it's fine. And I mean, like you said, we're not a regulatory board, so it's like it's not that big a deal. So just to review, it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 19, and 38.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, then I second Mike's motion if no one else has anything.
All right. All in favor, Laura? Maria?
Yes, but yeah.
No,
I think we should stick to water ones, but I mean, it's fine. They're all, yeah, it's fine.
Well, all of them are water with the exception of the Cape Cod Tech.
Yeah.
Mia?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And Michaela, yes. All right, so next up is update on harbor regulations. Does anyone have any updates on anything that they've been working on? And Pete, do you have any updates?
No update on my end on that topic.
All right, update on the harbor plan. Does anyone have any updates or any sections that they've taken particular interest in? And again, this is not time sensitive. I just want to get people thinking about something they'd like to. I did talk to Thor Jansen, who's a marine biologist and sculptor, and I did say that I would like to include some of the marine debris art that he does and that other artists did. I also talked to Laura Ludwig about that for her program. So I'm reaching out to people who would be good. I'm sorry for my voice. I'm sick at the moment. So I haven't done any specific work on it, but I'm trying to reach out to people who I think would be good for different sections. I think I also talked to Mike and Calliope very briefly about shellfishing. And then obviously we'll talk to the shellfish committee, but we'd like to get as much of an input as possible. Pete, do you have anything?
Two interesting pieces kind of related to the harbor plan. The first is that we have an initial scope of work draft from the consultant, you folks who came to a meeting a couple meetings ago. Her name is Kristen Uderwick. She works for the UMass Boston Urban Harbors Institute. They are in this state kind of the like go-to, most recommended, most widely used technical assistance with writing harbor plans. And I do think it is worth, us making sure we have technical assistance. Her scope varies depending on what we want in it, but it's in the $80,000 to $120,000 range, and it would last 2 years to get us through the, full passage of the plan. And so we could certainly phase that over several years of payments. It might cross 3 fiscal years rather than 2 fiscal years. And so I'm going to refine it a little bit with her, but then I'll share it with the committee and get your feedback on it as well.
What was that amount?
The amount ranges from 80 to sort of 120, 150, depending on what elements we want in or out, right? If we want them to spend more time getting more feedback and kind of going deeper into public engagement or technical consultation, it gets more expensive. And if it's less time, it's less expensive. But we're not, I think we are probably several months from finalizing that and fitting it into our, thoughts for the budget, and the budget could come from a number of places. I think principally funds would come from the Harbor Access Fund, but not exclusively. So it's just an update there that the meeting you folks had with her, that like initial briefing where she kind of described the process, we're still working, and I hope to bring you more formal documents soon for your review. Somewhat relatedly, also on the topic of Kristen, she has applied for a grant to the Office of Coastal Zone Management to do direct technical assistance for harbor and commercial fleet infrastructure related to climate change and resilience. So if this grant is funded, she and a team would come to Provincetown and specifically review McMillan Pier and other pieces of like commercial fleet infrastructure and provide us detailed technical recommendations to inform capital spending going forward. And so that would be a free resource for the town and for McMillan Pier planning, essentially. So it was nice to sort of partner with her on that grant application, and I hope that work gets funded so we can benefit from that.
That's great. I also wonder if, just in terms of grants, if there are grants available maybe through the Seaport Economic Council or other sources for this harbor plan that we could look into as well.
Yeah, I certainly think so. So that is one of the things as we both work on the scope, we can also work on the funding.
Great.
To Michaela. Hi, Michaela.
Hi,
Jamie. Seaport Economic is open right now.
Wow.
If you guys wanted to jump into that.
We love jumping in. Okay. Pete, is that something that you could peek at, or do you want me to?
Absolutely.
But
Okay,
not for Pier, just for Harbor, because Pier we're going to apply next year for the feasibility study.
Okay, yeah, I think let's apply for the harbor plan.
I hope you feel better, Michaela.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So, does anyone else have anything on the harbor plan?
I did forget something from the Harbor Master report related to kayak racks. So, Michaela, at your discretion, I would. Yeah. Okay, great. Show of hands, or does anyone in the room have a kayak rack permit? In the meeting, rather.
I used to, but I don't anymore.
Maria doesn't anymore. Okay. Has anyone in the room ever stood in line and gotten a kayak rack permit?
Yeah, so fun.
Okay, so Maria knows. She's been in person for it.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, the kayak rack permits.
It's an event.
Yes, it's an event. Since the racks have been installed, and I want to say 2012 is roughly our estimate of when the racks were installed. Don't have any like specific knowledge.
No, I feel like it was
earlier. Later. Yeah. So they're somewhere around 15 years old. Yeah. Since then, the racks are in high demand, and so when the permits go on sale, it's first come first serve. It's not like a mooring permit where you can renew it in perpetuity, and you always have it. The kayak racks kind of reset every year, and so due to the demand for specific racks and specific positions on the racks, there are 11 racks throughout town, and some of them sell out instantly. People line up at the office the day the permits go on sale. Now, in the past, last year, for example, it was like 30 degrees and sleeting, and people were lining up at 2 a.m. On a Tuesday in April outside of the harbor office. And about 50 people lined up by the time that we had the permits go on sale. And so last year we tried a system where when they got there, we took their name and told them to go home and come back at 9, and we'd call the names in the order in which they showed up to kind of mitigate the standing around in the rain problem. And while that was fun, we want to better celebrate the enthusiasm for kayak racks. And so this year, with Katie and Jamie really taking the lead on this, we're going to do the permit day in Town Hall in the Judge Welsh room. And this will let us to open the building, as early as we can, get people inside. We'll have like coffee and donuts and stuff, and some big boards with all the kayak rack locations, and people will line up. And then at 9 o'clock, we will start, one at a time, come up and pick your permit, and then they will check out using the online system that will handle all of the permits across the pier and harbor. And so we'll get to sort of in person teach these folks how to use the online system. We won't be accepting, paper or anything, no cash, no checks, have to use a credit or debit card, and have to check out using the online system. So that is our plan for this year. We also are going to, at the same time, have a silent auction for all of the kayaks that we have collected.
Wait, Pete, sorry to interrupt. Did you say you're not accepting cash or checks?
Correct.
What about for people who don't have bank accounts?
People who do not have bank accounts. We have not encountered a person without a bank account who wants a kayak permit.
I think that there are probably people who don't have bank accounts. I think it would be nice to offer an option for cash.
Yeah,
I was talking with sorry, Pete. Jamie and I actually just talked about this. We felt good writing credit card only because last year really credit cards was the majority. I had one person pay with cash on kayak day and then a handful of checks. So I'm thinking, Jamie and I just talked about this because we were working on a flyer and putting it online. So we're thinking it's going to be fine to put credit cards only. Of course, I wrote like any questions or concerns, like reach out to me or the harbor master at email. And then if someone's like, I don't, of course, we're going to let them buy one with a check or cash, but we're going to put out there like credit cards only to try to keep the flow going. We're not going to turn somebody away if they can't. If they show up with $100 bill, I'm not going to tell them to leave. I'm going to take their money.
Okay.
You can rely on Katie to take the money.
Yeah, have no fear. I got this.
All right.
One of the thoughts, of course, is there's a vision of this in which the thing occurs online entirely, and there's no in person. The timing of the permit sale is inconvenient for a lot of folks who want a permit because they don't happen to be in town or can't make it to permit day. On the other hand, making things happen in person privileges folks who live here year round and who have the free time to stand in line for many hours in the morning. So there's a number of ways this cuts, for or against egalitarianism. We considered making the process fully online this year, but felt that would radically change, the composition of who was logging in that moment, and it would privilege folks who were out of town and more used to, buying concert tickets online or other things that require computer dexterity and quick checkouts. And so, in an homage to tradition, we're doing a blended approach this year, but we've heard a lot of negative feedback about the inconvenient and in-person only nature of this. There's not other processes that we can identify in town that require that aren't responding to a summons, for example, but you can do everything else in town online. You can get building permits, you can apply for parking passes. There's no other process in town in which we ration a scarce resource via a deliberately inconvenient in-person process. And so
could I ask, would it be an idea that if we did go to a full online system, that Provincetown residents had either a day, it opened a day earlier for people with, Provincetown driver's licenses, or even a couple hours?
That's an idea. Yeah, we didn't look too much into how we would otherwise, create a preference system, so to speak, because we decided just to make it in person and better versus change it to be fully online this year. But open to all suggestions about how, if we do in the future decide to go fully online, we'll do it in a way that acknowledges locals or folks who we find the folks for whom it provides the most benefit rather than just
you have to have a Wellfleet address to get the early access or whatever. I think that that's fair, and I think that will prevent any riots.
That is always our goal with kayak racks, is to prevent riots. The other thing we can do, I think the committee should note, because we certainly would love some help with this, the kayak racks make significant money for the pier. All the kayak rack permit revenue goes to the pier's enterprise fund. The kayak racks were a gift. They're provided by the Harbor Access Fund. I don't have the details of how much money it cost to put 10 or 11 kayak racks up around town, but they've all certainly paid themselves back, so to speak, even though all that money went to the pier. And because the Harbor Access Fund comes from Chapter 91 funds, which are payments in lieu of public access, right? So your property is supposed to provide public doesn't, so you pay a bunch of money instead, so that we can provide public access in some other way. The kayak racks, investing in more kayak racks around town, which the demand for them indicates we would be able to do. We'd sell them, right? Like, this is a hot product. We should make more of it. Would enable us to, use funds dedicated to public access to create enduring public benefits that then help support McMillan Pier itself and the enterprise fund. So it's a particularly appealing arrangement, I think, for us as fiduciary stewards of the harbor / water, water infrastructure, to consider this summer. And I'm sure also I bet Michaela could get the racks donated, or we'll build more out of found, materials. It's not that hard to build kayak racks. They don't have to be expensive or fancy. Yeah, but so that's just an idea that, and we're gonna work with the kayak rack at Captain Jack's Wharf, the West Vine rack. All the racks are essentially identical. They're not customized for the site, and a number of residents around that rack have pointed out that the rack is designed in such a way that the kayaks block the view down West Vine out to the harbor. And one of the Chapter 91 principles is that we protect views as well as access to really connect the harbor to the land as a pedestrian. And so we're going to visit with some residents and the Director of Conservation, Melissa Nickerson, tomorrow, I believe, at 11 a.m. and look for ways we could reconfigure the rack, or easily build a different configuration with the same number of kayaks, but that doesn't block the view, right? If we customize it to the site. And so hopefully this will be very inexpensive, but it might be an interesting test case in more optimizing our kayak rack infrastructure for citizen delight and peer support.
Great.
Yeah. Did I miss anything about the kayak rack process, Katie?
No, I think that sounds great. I'm just posting to our social media, so hopefully we get the word out. So tell people, and I'm gonna make some flyers and put them around and see what we can do.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Katie, thank you so much for all the work on this. I'm sure it's, and Pete and Jamie, I'm sure it's a lot of transition.
It's good, but I just had a meeting with our new software system, and I'm feeling really good about it. I think it's going to be really easy for mooring permits and all the things. So I was a little getting discouraged, but I'm feeling really good. So.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. Better you than me.
Yeah, implementing software is not fun. But sorry, go ahead, Michaela.
No, go ahead.
There was one more. What the hell was I going to say? It completely left my mind because I was so excited about kayaks.
One more thing. One more.
You know what? If it comes to me, it comes to me.
I'm just gonna circle back. You did send around the minutes.
You say what?
You sent around the minutes, right? I think I got an email.
Me? I did not know.
Oh, I just emailed the committee with meeting minutes that Jody sent me early, just a little 20 minutes ago, from October 22nd. So I just sent those.
Mike, did you get a chance to look at those quickly? It's very short.
Michaela, I think we should just save them for next meeting because some people are driving and stuff. So.
Oh, got it. Okay.
It doesn't really matter if it waits till next meeting. I
was under the false impression for many years that Jody only got paid for minutes, so I've always been very diligent with the minutes. Okay.
So the thing I was going to say is the Swim for Life in the past has come to the office and gone through all the paper kayak permits, with our permission, obviously, to get the email addresses of everybody who has a kayak rack permit that year, which they then email to recruit those paddler flotillas for the safety observances along the Swim for Life route. And so, Katie, remind me when I get back to the office to give you that, because they did the work of taking the 240 handwritten email addresses and turning them into a digital file. So Katie, let me get you that file, and we can also email everybody who's had a permit in the past to let them know directly about Kayak Rack Day.
Oh, that sounds like an amazing idea. Thank you, Pete. My
pleasure. I just forgot about that until now.
Wow, good to know HIPAA doesn't extend to kayak. All right. Does anyone else have anything? Otherwise, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to throw in just, I have one thing. It's more of
Yeah,
a
go
point
ahead, Mike.
a point of interest. And I apologize if Pete, this is the first you're hearing of it, but I kind of dropped to Jamie. In my work through the Fisherman's Memorial, I'm going to be meeting with the mayor of New Bedford, and he's interested in kind of entertaining the idea of like a sister port, and offering some support to get that done. And so I mentioned to Jamie, and she was going to relay, if she hadn't to Pete yet, we're going to maybe take a small field trip to go down and meet with them. One of the interesting things about their harbor is they're also an ocean cluster harbor, which I thought was really interesting. They had Jen Downing, one of their lead harbor personnel, running that for the last 3 years. So I think I'd like to just keep you guys updated as we move forward with that. And but it's pretty interesting stuff, and I think it was pretty exciting to have another port of historical significance really be interested in working with Provincetown, especially for our memorial. So that's about it. Just wanted to keep everyone in the loop and let you guys know what's going on.
That sounds great. Thank you. And maybe they would be interested. Somebody had told me, I can't remember, that they don't do their blessing of the fleet. Maybe you could help them with that as the flag bearer. I did have a question, Mike. So, Mike, on the Fisherman's Memorial, I was under the impression that it was just going to be a stone with the names, and then I saw on the thing that it's going to be a sculpture again. Is that back to a sculpture, or did I mishear that?
No, you're correct. It's going to be an empty bronze dory, bastard dory, atop a like a kind of a wave-shaped granite block with the names on it.
Oh, great. And who's doing the sculpture?
It's Broden Designs. It's the conceptual design is what the board came up with, and we went out to RFP, and Broden Design is a memorial company, and they were able to cut the cost down almost in half. So it'll be about $350,000 of fundraising to put it in place.
Got it. Great. All right. Somebody had asked me and I didn't know the answer. So, all right, perfect.
Sorry.
Does anyone have anything else?
All the learning.
I'll motion to adjourn then.
All right, I'll second that. All in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Maria,
Yep.
Laura,
Yes.
Mia,
Yes.
and Michaela, yes. All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Great. Can we still go in and get